and also putting that into perspective on what it means for retail sales on auto. Let's get chatting about what this really means for the economy as well as the auto sector. Ashwin Patil, the head of fundamental research at LKP Securities, joins us on the phone line. Ashwin, good to have you on the show. Now, you heard the Vahan registration data numbers being spelt out by my colleague Puneet. What's your sense and what is it that you're picking up? Of course, record levels when it comes to the registration levels for the month.
Well, I would say that, the trend, the retail sales trend, which was seen in the month of April, it's getting continued in the month of May. But definitely, it is on a low base of last year. So that kind of numbers we are seeing. But definitely the demand is also quite strong as such. Despite all those geopolitical headwinds, etc., that's not actually impacting the domestic demand. And if you look sector-wise, like if you segregate two-wheeler, four-wheeler, etc., that within two-wheelers also we can see a very strong demand in the EV space as such, and also in the premium space, because the 125cc space is getting very much crowded. So the growth is mainly in the premium and the EV space, and also because of the GST benefit, the low-end sales is also getting a good trigger. So, and also the marriage season is going on. That is one of the reasons April, May has been good, on that front as well. So that is one of the reasons. And secondly, on the low base, we can see the two-wheeler or, the overall auto industry putting up a very good show. Then coming to passenger vehicles, also the companies like Maruti, Mahindra, etc., they have come out with an array of new launches. They are like Mahindra 700, etc. They are like fetching a very good demand. And that's the reason why I would say that, before the monsoon starts, which is expected to be not that very strong, El Nino comes in. So the second half is expected to be not very strong on demand front. And also on the high base of last year. So I think, therefore the first half will be looking much more brighter than the second half. And the demand-wise also, like customers will be looking for, because everybody is aware what is in store for the second half. So, the buying, etc., will be happening in the first half itself. And also on the dealer inventory level also, that has also gone down significantly, which shows that even the wholesale sales will be quite stronger for the month of May. So, on and on, I would say that overall, the entire sector is looking quite buoyant at this point in time. But what's in store for the second half is like anybody's guess. But if the El Nino doesn't pan out, that stronger, then we can see a good growth in the second half also. But at this point in time, things are looking not really very strong for the second half. But yes, first half is very good.
Right. So not looking that strong for the second half, but of course, Ashwin, for all the consumption space companies and sectors, we have seen that the revenues had been strong, the demand had been strong for the earlier part of this particular year. But inflation coming in, and on the other hand, El Nino that you mentioned, and the third factor, let me also say, is the margin impact on the companies. Right. Putting all that together, how do you assess this data and give an outlook for the auto companies, and also segregating the winners and losers for the next few months, or at least next quarter?
Well, I would say that, as this inflation is going up, the fuel prices are going up, the companies which are having good, exposure to the EV space, like, the pure EVs like Ather, they will be facing good, they'll be having good times going ahead also in this scenario where the fuel prices are going up. Then companies like Bajaj, TVS, etc., which are having a good presence in the EV space, they are having a good, break-even, and they are getting a break-even in that space. That these companies will be having a good time going forward. Also, if the rupee is falling, then Bajaj, which is having a very good exposure to the exports markets, that will be, one of the stocks to look at. But, on and on, if you see overall auto industry, the inflation, the fuel prices moving up, the RM prices moving up, the Middle East conundrum, you never know when it will, till when it will continue, etc. So all these will be the overhangs on those companies. So margins definitely will see some sort of pressure, maybe about 50 to 100 bips going forward in second half as well. But you never know. Like the strong demand for the vehicles and the new models, etc. At least in the first half will be making up for for the entire year. So maybe like second half will not be that strong, but first half will be still better. So companies like within the passenger vehicle space, we like Mahindra and Mahindra, but yes, I mean the El Nino factor is going to play on them as well.
Yes.
So Maruti is quite strong in that space,
Right.
followed by Mahindra and Mahindra. Even Tata Motors PV is strong. And on
Right.
the CV front, I think Ashok Leyland and Ashok Leyland is much better placed given its exposure in the export markets and
Sure.
its diversification in the defense space and then
Right.
aftermarkets, etc. So Ashok Leyland is much better.
All right.
looking
So
than
M&M,
AMC.
Ashok Leyland
Maruti, yeah.
and Maruti, some of the winners from this, but lots of factors really impacting. It's not just the demand. Thank you so much, Ashwin Patil, for joining in with your views on the Vahan registration data and what lies ahead for the auto sector. Remember, it's a key indicator for the macro trends also for the economy and needs to be kept a watch on. Moving on to another important development of the day, Byju's founder Ravindran has been sentenced to 6 months